Hello everybody, this is a grumpy old guy gaming, and as you can see we're on something a bit different today. This is actually on my PS3 playing, thanks to a Genki Shadowcast, playing it here on my computer. And this is Final Fantasy Tactics. Brief personal history, this is probably one of the top three games as far as gameplay that I've played in my life. I've played this game to death. I had bought it off of a friend in school. Um, I forget what other game I may have got off of them at the time. I think it was that and maybe the first Medal of Honor. But it was like $20, and that more than I got 10 times that the first year out of Final Fantasy Tactics. I got hooked on this game the very first time I played it. The intro was amazing, the battle system, the tactical RPG elements. Even with it being a single player game, it's the kind of thing my buddies and I would get together and play, and we would just pass a controller and just go ahead and create random characters and then level them up and give them different jobs to see what our optimal builds for, like, our ideal fighter in this game and our ideal mage would be. And we create little parties and just do random battles like that. And it's in that vein of things that I'm actually going to take this. I do want to cover Final Fantasy Tactics in more long form down the line here in the channel, but for this particular video, what I'm really interested in is tying it to .hack. Obviously, if you've seen the channel, you know .hack is really special and also near and dear to me. This channel started with a fragment upload, .hack fragment, which is a game that I got really hyped for back in the day, and then had that moment of realization that it was never coming west. There would never be a US release. I loved Infection, the IMOQ quartet. I say specifically Infection because I had picked that up at a GameStop, and I had gone so long without even thinking of picking up Mutation because it just never showed up. I just played it and played it and played. I lived in that post game. But anyway, we're to the point where I'm naming the main character now, and coming up with the most generic name I could ever come up with. Protag the protagonist. That works. Normally it's Ramza, the Bull family, and I recorded this, well, I recorded the gameplay on Saturday, so I'm going to put in July 10th. Actually recording the audio Sunday morning here because for whatever reason I just rushed to set up OBS and my microphone was not picking up audio. So I talked like a goof over that. Going into the opening cinematic now, which I'm just gonna watch again for the nostalgia factor. I decided to let this run through. Also pads the video a little bit because I wasn't sure how quickly I'd get through that first battle, but it is a cool cinematic. And again, this is something that later on I will be touching in longer form. I still love the way this looks. Obviously, it's not cutting edge graphics or anything. This is 24 years old now, but just the look of it just takes me back to that time. A little shiny there. So this is going to play through, and I guess I should explain the way I'm going to try and tie this into .hack. There are different jobs, different classes you can assign characters, and you can learn skills from those jobs. And I thought it might be fun to sit there and look at the different characters in the .hack universe. Characters like Tsukasa, Elk, BT, Sanjuro, Sora, maybe even getting into R2 and beyond, characters like Haseo, characters like Alcade, characters like Takio, and just try to map out what they would be in this class system, and then create your dream parties and play through them here in this neat little tactical game. I think it'll be kind of fun. Obviously, some skills are going to be tough to replicate, like Kite's data drain. Some seem on the nose, like Tsukasa being a summoner. BT also kind of fits the build, but that's more of the aesthetic over it. Now, I do want to say with a caveat, again, this is Final Fantasy Tactics. I downloaded it to my PS3 because at the time I didn't have a functioning PS2 and really wanted to play me some Tactics. So it's a game I've bought multiple times. And I'm perfectly cool with that. Get a nice zoom in of the monastery door there. But that means that certain classes aren't going to be available to me, like Dark Knight and what have you. This is just the vanilla game, and that's how I'm going to run it. Going into the Orbone Monastery now. I have a bit of a leg up. I tried remembering it all yesterday, and I tripped somewhat amusingly over a couple of the names and whatnot. Gonna have a much better go of it this time because it's a day later and I've already seen it recently. So you've got Princess Ophelia here praying for the children of Ivalice. Agrias, the knight, who we see as female knight until her name is said right in this next speech bubble here, is looking on, along with Simon the priest. Simon was the only name I could friggin' get on the first try, and it's just some bald priest dude. There's Gavgarian. He's the Black Knight and head of the mercenary company, whose employ we find ourselves in at the beginning. We are Protag, we are there on the left, and to the right is a generic squire named Rad, who is a rad squire indeed. We always enjoyed finding little puns like that. So Agrias and Gafgarian are having a bit of a moral spat here. Gafgarian is in it for the money, Agrias is in it for love of queen and country. Eventually Ophelia gets a little tired of that, says a pleasant goodbye to Simon and prepares to leave, when we get a female knight rushing through the door, somewhat badly wounded. Simon obviously thinks it's Goltana's men, because that's not us. And now we're a little taken aback by Gafgarian's attitude, and we just realized that we've sold our souls. Kinda sucks for us, but hey, a job's a job. We gotta get going. So we're off to defend the princess here, as Simon tends to the wounded female knight. We're gonna have a small company of people joining us as well. Get a little overview of the battle. We're here outside of the monastery. It's a rainy day. Just something about the way the rain falls in this game. I suppose that's just me looking favorably on it because of the good memories I have attached to this game, but just something I enjoy about it. We can't make money that way. Gafgarian's always a dick. So we're going into battle, and this is just a simple defeat all enemies. I'm not going to bore you all by playing through the entire intro with this, but I am going to throw it out. I already put a question out on the NetSlum Discord relating to this. What characters would people like to see, and what job or jobs do they think they would have? I've got a couple responses. I'm probably going to be pestering once or twice more. This video, this intro, will be coming out on Monday. trying to shoot things a little in advance to give myself some time, and so I make less mistakes like this. Here you could see I'm actually just sort of scoping out my actual move range. Can move quite a large distance. Gonna check my actions next. I always hope to get accumulate, which allows you to just slowly build up your physical attack stat. I end up getting wish, which allows you to transfer your hit points to somebody else's. It's a nice last ditch healing effort, and we do have a bunch of hit points to spare if needed. And then cheer, which raises the brave level. That's a thing. Not the biggest thing for us, not the best skill set we could have ever had. I'm sure there's a way to manipulate it, and I just never took the time to learn. We're gonna move over, I want to say that's Alicia the Knight there. We're gonna move on to her side. Agrius and Gafgarian are sort of going in a one-upsmanship battle with their special sword powers. Gafgarian had hit that enemy archer with a knight sword earlier, and then Agrius finishes them off with a stasis sword, gives us a quick one-up. Lavian and Alicia, the female knights, move forward, and very little else. The enemy knight goes to break Agrius's helmet and fails. Now these archers, hey, that guy's name was Dish. Get ready to charge some attacks. You've got Fuchs the chemist heading up and just going all melee stabby with what looked like a mithril knife. Gets a job class up, and here comes Rad. One Rad Squire, if I do say so twice myself. Most rad thing about Rad the Squire is he knows black magic. So he's gonna go a little toasty on the chemist there. And like I said, that's a really fun thing about this game. You can sit there and mix and match job styles and abilities. So you could totally be a melee class like a knight, like a squire, like a monk, and still have the ability to cast. It allows for a range that I think can emulate some .hack characters rather well. Throwing out an example that was given on the Discord already, Sanjuro is a samurai through and through, loves katanas, heavy blade in the game, totally up his wheelhouse. But what else would Sanjuro be good at? Would he heal? Would he have armor breaking skills like a knight? These are the things I kind of want to think about. Like, obviously, like I said, Tsukasa is a summoner, the guardian and whatnot, but what would his other powers be? I'm going to be mulling over this a bit. My plan is to advance the story when necessary for items or job classes, but really I kind of want to stay moving from field to field in random battles, level these characters up in parties 3 or 4 at a time, and then once we have a good mix, you know, set out maybe once a month on a dream party adventure, grab our favorite .hack characters or the ones we want to see from that area. Agrius going again. Gets a little intro for Stasis Sword, which is called Steady Sword in that. But I want to do that, you know, get those pairings. Maybe have a contest between a Haseo character and a Sora character to see which... Well, I think I'd be going into spoiler territory if I go too much further down that line of thought, but there are some interesting party combinations there. Wrapping up the battle here, you could see the knight just charging an attack. Rad's gonna do his best to stop the knight, does not do it in time, and down goes, I believe that was Alicia. Gafgarian, of course, there to pick up the scraps as any good mercenary would be, already weakened foe distracted by a fallen ally of yours, and Gafgarian goes in for the kill. So yeah, that's more or less the premise. And this battle is just about wrapped up as well. I can tell we're nearing the end of this because, again, I'm recording audio in post, and I'm looking down at the little graph, and we don't have much more time, maybe a little over 2 minutes here. So we're just going to finish this up, and going to finish up this battle, and that will pretty much be the upload. Sorry, I'm scrambling for words, coffee's still setting in. Meanwhile, in the battle, we weakened one of the 2 remaining archers by a good deal, and then Agrius with a stasis sword to finish off. That archer's going to go for a charge attack on Lavian, and Rad is going to do the most reckless, yet selfless thing he could. Just charges right in and casts a fire spell that's going to hit both us and the archer. But we could take that hit, and Rad, in his positioning, goes ahead and throws his body in front of Lavian the Knight, taking the arrow for her. Really selfless move, and one that definitely fits the name Rad. Gafgarian appears to be so touched by that selfless action, he decides to go protect his fellow mercenary. So a rare bit of white magic from Gafgarian, who's probably the last person I would expect to have white magic. Just 30 hit points left on that archer. We can finish them off in true protag fashion, going in for the killing blow. You can see Alicia is still there at the monastery's walkway. Everybody else still up and about when we hear the princess screaming for help in the background. Some knight in gold armor seems to be abducting her through the back of the monastery. Finds the princess rather annoying and gives her a bit of a gut punch. Agrius, of course, races and is just not quick enough. She gets there, but not in time to stop them. They've already mounted the chocobo, and they're going to be running away here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and play through till we can get to a soldier's office, and then I guess I'm going to pause for a couple days and wait to see what inputs we have and start formulating our first party and get to the point where I could get at least a Mandalia Plains random battle and start things from there. That said, this has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming. Thank you for watching.